Well, for the second press conference in a row, it's an off week going into a ball game, and you almost have to go back to remember what questions to answer for the topic of discuss, because usually we're recapping the previous game. Did we have a press conference last week? We didn't. But anyway, UMass was a big win for us in that every win's kind of a milestone for this team, and it's something the feather in their cap for caps that didn't have a lot of feathers. Now there's two wins in a row, 2 out of the last 3, most wins in 5 seasons, and so we're awful proud of that. Defensively, just getting better and better. In a lot of ways, we get in these tight ball games. I think offensively, we're trying not to get in the way of the defense. Even though we turned the ball over the first 3 times, our whole plan was to be a little conservative, don't turn it over, and we carried that out the rest of the day pretty much. But the defense really is just getting better and better. Currently, I think our defense ranks 3rd in the conference, and it's helped us to win. Offensively, we're running the ball better, but probably play a little more conservatively, trying to make sure, as you've seen the scores of these last games, we're trying to win close ball games, and that's the most important thing. I think when you're turning a program around or trying to just find ways to win, all the little statistics don't matter anymore. The only one that matters is W's, and I think that's what we have been most proud of. Is the most important one has been there for us. Jatavius Brown just continues to be the kind of the monster of that defense, making multiple double-digit tackles most every game now, and it's just his talent level is really stepping up, as well as Malachi Freeman is in our secondary, who is our lockdown corner, and is that guy we depend on to usually play the best man on the other team. So again, a good win. I thought Kyle Pohl had the best game of the season, managing the offense and managing the situation, and putting us in the right situation throughout the game. We missed a couple scoring opportunities. When you turn the ball over the very first 3 plays practically of the game, you don't know what you lost in yardage and points there, but you came out of that not even 0-0, and I think we had one other turnover going in, and then we opted to give back a field goal. It was now that we've had some exciting finishes, but that was out of the ordinary, where we kick a field goal to go up by 4, and they have a personal foul launching, and we decided to take the field goal off because we added up the seconds. We were able to end the game with 4 straight plays. About 1 or 2 seconds, we were able to end it, and so that's kind of what we did. But now the big week in front of us is what we're looking at, Toledo, and that's it's a big game for both teams. It's a big game for both teams. This is a team that was playing for the conference division championship last week, a chance to play the conference championship just a week ago, and of course lost a game that they were winning early on. They were winning the game against Northern Illinois, and lost it by just a great performance by Jordan Lynch. But it's a big game for us, and because they're a very good football team. But it would be 3 in a row for us, 4 out of the last 5 for us, and the most wins. Well, it would tie the most wins since 5 years ago in 2008. And this is a team that's been to a bowl game the last 3 years and is bowl eligible again this year. And I think that's what makes the game big for them, is just because you're bowl eligible, it doesn't put you in which particular bowl you want to be in or guarantee anything. So they know that what they do against us is important for posturing for their 4th consecutive bowl game, and so this is going to mean a lot to them. So we understand. We'd love to go out there and play our best ball game. We'll need to play our best ball game. We'd love to go out there and play that our best, and go out there and see if we can reach our goal against Toledo. To do that, you've got. I don't know if they've announced whether Fluellen is playing their running back. If he's definitely out, but the freshman has done very well behind him. So they're not too. Is it Hunt? I believe is his name. He's a very good back, and Flellen's missed a couple of games, and Hunt's has done a very, very good job. But the key is their quarterback, Terrence Owens. He just, you can't sack him. He's had 5 sacks on the year, and he's thrown for over 8,000 yards, for his career, and he may not always. They might not, and they're going to get rid of the ball quick. But he kind of gets the ball in the right hands of the right people and runs as well as throws. And so he's a leader on that. He's a leader on that offense. And he didn't play last year against us. But he is a leader of that offense, and that's where it starts. Defensively, they're probably the most talented. I think they're as talented as anybody, if not the most talented athletically team in the conference. Defensively, it shows with the way they run. Their middle linebacker, I think it's Sylvester, is their leading tackler, and number 15, their defensive end, is one of those. He would be right with those top 4 or 5 guys that rushed the passer that we've played against all year. You have to go back to Central Florida, Michigan, and some of these other teams, along with the MAC teams, to see some of the best. But he's right there with them. 15 is what's fifth? Elliott. Elliott has 9 sacks, and so that's he's very tough to block. And so and they average over 30 points offensively, and they're top half on the defense in the conference. So they represent the top 3 or 4 teams in this conference, and that's where we'd like to be one day. And so it's a great challenge for us, and we're looking forward to it. And our defense, again, I can't say enough about the improvement they've made. Number 3 in the conference right now in total defense, and Chuck Amata and his staff doing a great job over there. Open for questions.
What does the bye week affect on your offense or defense team?
All the years I've coached, it varies. I've tried not to guess what it does, because you can't get rid of a bye week, so you can't say, okay, so you got one and you're going to practice the same way. I mean, it's kind of a fraternity. We all check around. We all know what the other people do on bye weeks, and we all try to do the same thing. Obviously, if you're have injuries that need to be healed, that is an obvious advantage, is that you've got guys that are banged up can freshen up. On the other hand, we were just saying to ourselves that we've had 4 weeks to get ready for 2 games, and after 12 games, your guys are kind of tired of the practice. It's just been long. You get a lot of practices in, so the healing part is there. Is there a negative? Can you come out flat? We turned the ball over 3 straight times. We never fumbled. I mean, I don't think they had a running back fumble all year going into that game. We had 2 of them, and a missed timing on a snap. But we ran those plays over and over again in practice, But is it game speed? Never quite game speed in practice? So it could make you a little bit off or a little bit flat. But I can't say that I haven't had been part of some of my best football games, or our team's best football games over the years after off weeks. And so I'm always in favor of 1 or 2 off weeks during the season, because you need injuries to heal more than anything else. You need injuries to heal. I thought it was kind of crazy the ways ours were at the end. But we won both games after the off week, and it gave us a chance to prepare 2 weeks for a team that we really might have even been favored against, And although you like to know, I wonder what would happen if you had an off week on some of the earlier weeks. So anyway, I don't know the answer to that, except there's 2 sides to it, and you kind of wait till the game plays out till you know which one is the answer, because I don't think you can control it. Don't think you can go out. You can't control it. You can't make the off week go away, and you've got to try to maintain your practice routine that you've done over the years and what you know that other people that are being successful do.
What else do you know about Kareem Hunt?
I don't know a lot, because the biggest thing about me, I work with the offense, and so I spend all my time. I've watched film of him, but I'm spending most all my time watching film of their defense. And you probably could grab Chuck Amata and some of the defensive coach. You get a better view. All I know is that I've seen enough of them to say, "Dadgum, they don't lose a whole lot." Of course, Fluellen, so they won the 9th rusher in the nation. He's 6.2 yard average, and so he's a pretty dang good one. But they can run their offense with Hunt. I don't know a lot about him personally, where he's from or those things, but the defense would know everything about him.
So you didn't take a look at him?
Yeah, I've seen him, and I've watched him.
Take a look at him recruiting-wise, because he's from the Cleveland area.
From the Cleveland area, yeah. Well, either he had committed earlier and said no to us, but we weren't able to get him to visit Toledo. I know when Toledo had. They had some early commitments, and we don't get to see them at all. But I know we're not able to get him on a visit.
Coach, how important is it? You talked about the senior class leaving with a good taste in their mouth, the group that maybe turned this thing around.
Yeah.
How important is it
Well, it would be like I say, it would be a real feather in their cap, and I don't know what, there's probably a better way to say it. I just think it would be something special to be able to play our best and beat a team that's a bowl team, that is a bowl team. Is it gonna diminish to me the great job the seniors have done of weathering a lot of storms here, never losing faith in themselves and what we're doing, and going out and bringing us the most victories in 5 years? I'm not gonna let it diminish eventually. We won't let it diminish the what they've done for our program. But by all means, it'd be when you walk off that field for the last time, you'd like to do it as a winning football team. Toledo's going to have something to say about that. They're a very good team, and I know our guys. I know our guys have prepared hard. Tomorrow will be the last practice these seniors practice here ever, and it'll be emotional a little bit as we have our senior tradition that we go through, and but it would mean a lot to them and a lot to us for them that they do it. But like I say, both teams are playing for a lot.
Is that traditionally what you've done with your seniors?
No. It was something they showed me from Akron has done. Akron has a tradition here, and that they do with the seniors, and it's kind of a gauntlet type of thing that most of the schools have done, where the other players, their last hit, it's that last hit award. But there's a gauntlet of players on each side, and they each take the last hit on the dummy, and we put a mat behind it, so we add a little fun to it, and then they ad-lib their own personality into the hit, and because I remember our long snapper ended up running down, turning backwards, and snapping the football into the dummy, and then falling backwards into the dummy to represent what he did for 4 years here. But it's always emotional because it's these players. These games are. This football is for the players, and what we do is for the players. And I've only known them 2 years, but they've been through a lot. Some of them here 5 years, some here 4 years, and it'll be meaningful. Just as you were talking about the last game, if you could get that one and play your best. Both teams, have freshmen and sophomores and juniors that know what they mean these seniors are going through, and so all the buttons that we're pushing are being pushed on the other side in each case, and we have the home field, and that's one of those things that we'll want to defend, but it'll be meaningful for them.
Have they said anything specific to you about what you've done for them, the seniors have talked to you about?
No, that's kind of, I don't ask them. They don't say. I think they've done it for themselves. I've often said I'm not interested in being the best at something, except maybe bringing out the best in others. And hopefully that's what they would help to say, is that I was able to motivate and help bring out the best. My coaches do a great job of coaching them, a lot more than I used to do when I was coaching so much positions, mostly at smaller schools where you coach the positions as a head coach. I mostly motivate the players and guide our coaches, but no, they have it. But, and I imagine some will be better than others, but I have enjoyed them. They've been a special group of players because I know what they've been through in their years here.
As far as having some time the last couple of weeks, has the recruiting picked up, or are you satisfied with what's happening?
Yeah, we've been out on the road recruiting, and early, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I spent a full day out up in the Cleveland area. As a matter of fact, I'm not to say schools and stuff, but I tried to. We have an emphasis that we believe Cleveland is one we've got to do more emphasis on. But yeah, we've had good. Now we have certain positions that we can take and can't take, and our numbers, because we blue shirted and we did some things that to jump ahead and jump forward. We'll have 25 counters next year, but maybe 10 of them already been counted, already on the team, or in that way. Yes, George, you look like you want to.
They're not, I could just guess where you've been. So.
Yeah, I mean, it really, we've got some players. Coach Boykin recruits the Cleveland area. He's from this area. He's from this part of Ohio, and we've made an emphasis in fact, we also are going to have a satellite camp up there this summer. We have a satellite camp in Toledo, Cincinnati area, Columbus area, 3 camps here in Akron, on our stadium. Then we're going to pick a high school out in down close to the inner Cleveland, or bring it close to everybody, where kids that maybe can't get on a drive 45 minutes can quickly get down the road. So we're going to try to do that, just to continue to emphasize the area.
Playing on Friday noon gives you opportunity to watch a lot of college football. So
We-
it's going to be a big day.
Yeah, it's, it's a big, in fact, at the MAC conference, I got more questions on Auburn, Alabama from writers calling from Montgomery and other places, only because it's a big one. In my first year at Auburn, we were undefeated, and they were the defending national champion. And this year, Auburn's lost one, and Alabama's the defending national champion.
Well,
And
trust me, the ratings will be high in Ohio this weekend.
I mean, and obviously, Michigan, Ohio State Ohio State, Michigan is one of the great big rivalries of all time, and that'll be huge. It'll be nice to be able to sit down and watch some of these with our players, especially having that wagon wheel here, having already done our duty, the players having done their duty and gotten the wagon wheel back here and gotten back with our biggest rivalry. But it's enjoyable to do. I'm looking forward to it. It was interesting. I was reading an article on, just going back to the game, the Auburn, Alabama. It's kind of a fanatical place. It's like Ohio. It's a nutty place. I mean, the tickets are going like for $300 a piece down there now, and the only ticket that was bigger was that '93 season, because we were on probation and couldn't be on TV, and the tickets were going $500 a pop, because you had to be there to see it, and of course, not many people have that much money to pay, but everybody was willing to pay it, But it's great. Yeah, of course, I grew up a mountaineer in West Virginia. They lost theirs, Pitt. I don't know, that's the biggest, saddest loss that I can imagine, is West Virginia Pitt not playing Florida State.
What's the high school football like in Alabama compared maybe to Ohio? What's Auburn, Alabama get most of their players in state?
I don't think population's half, but population is a little over 4. We're over 8, aren't we, or somewhere around there? And so you got more players.
Still very
But it's hugely intense. I mean, it's just like the passion for it is both places is very. They have schools like Massillon that get the 15,000 to 20,000. They have schools that get those kind of numbers as well. And so Ohio, Texas, Alabama, Florida has so many population. There'll be parts of the state where football isn't important, but there's too many good players in the areas that it is. But Ohio, we really enjoyed. Getting back into Ohio. My early years of playing with boys from Ohio at West Virginia. Many of my teammates are coaching here. Many of my early players from Salem. The coach before me at Salem College was a guy named Larry Blackstone, who was a high school coach in Ohio that took the job, and so almost all my players were from Ohio, and many of them are head coaches now in Ohio, and so it's exciting to see the playoffs now in Ohio.
Players all going to be taken care of for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we have it. It'll be a great Thanksgiving Day. Of course, that's our off day. We don't practice the day before, but we'll have a Thanksgiving. Around noon, we'll have the full turkey dressing, everything you can get to feed the players, and all the desserts. Of course, they have their big meal at night too, which you usually have. But we've got 200 large portions to serve to 105 players. Then the coaches and families will be there with them as well. So that should be exciting. All my children are here for the first time. I've got a bunch of them and one grandson, so it should be they'll all be sharing. But it's good to be able to do that, and the players to have Thanksgiving together and with the coaches and their families, because these players usually are with their families on Thanksgiving.